Should we be calling Republican parties the Confederate Party, as in the old slavery party? Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel.
Hi, Tom. Sorry, something happened to my phone there.
Quite all right.
I think that the Republican Party has declared itself the new Confederacy. So
I agree.
For me, not saying that anybody else do, but they call us the Democrat Party. I think it feels good to call them the Confederate Party, the party of slavery, because when you think about it, Tom, all of their policies are really, that's what it reflects. They don't want to pay people what they're worth. They don't want to pay them a living wage. They don't want them to have health care. They don't really want to treat workers any better than slave owners wanted to treat slaves. So why don't we just call it the way it is? And what we need to do, if I could just, myself included, Tom, we need to stop we need to start using that kind of language with them, be it the Confederate Party, the party of slavery, and stop saying things like neoliberalism and oligarchs. I mean, that's just the sesquipedalian jargon of us elite liberals who like to kind of toss that kind of language around. See how I made that point? Sesquipedalian, that's like a 1.5 long word. Sesquipedalian jargon means that we use big words, and that's what we are. We're not relating to people when we talk like that. If we would call them the Confederate Party, the party of slavery, which is what they are, and what they just stood up for, the big lie, they stood up for a big lie. And I can tie this in with the other topic today, climate change. The big lie is they're saying already on conservative talk radio, climate change, the nation is freezing over. This is climate change. You've got to be kidding me. You see, and to the simple-minded, that makes sense. When actually this snowstorm is exactly evidence and proof that there's climate change, because there's so much moisture in the atmosphere. When high moisture from climate change meets, Arctic air, which should never be down this low, really, as low as Texas and the Mexican border, that's what happens. It snows like crazy, right? But they don't know.
Not only that, the melting of the Arctic ice has changed the temperature gradient that creates the jet stream, and it's caused the jet stream to weaken, and so it can't hold that Arctic air up in the Arctic anymore, and so it's just drooling down over North America. That's global warming.
As a matter of fact, the Antarctic, which is also melting at an astonishing rate, there was a local talk show host by the name of John Carlson was just talking about how it's the snowpack is snowing more than ever in Antarctica, which is actually evidence also of climate change, that it's too warm, because it really shouldn't ever snow in Antarctica, because there should never be humidity enough down there for it to snow. But that's what's happening, and that's why they convince people with their simple-minded arguments and their simple-minded lies that that's what's happening. And so they are the Confederate Party. They're the party of lies. They're the party of slavery. And that's what they showed up. And Donald Trump is the new Jefferson Davis. That's what he wants to be. Let's just let him be that. He's the new Jefferson Davis, and that's the war we're going to have to fight. And yes, there's going to be violence. I believe there already has been. Let's not say there's going to be. There has been. There was an attack on the United States Capitol. There was an insurgency. It's more than an insurrection. It's an insurgency, an attack, just like Fort Sumter was attacked by the Confederate states in 1861. We are under attack, and I don't see any other way to look at it. And they're censoring people. They're censoring members of the party who will not be part of their Confederacy. That's what they're doing. They're essentially kicking people out.
So here's the question, Paul. Does a Confederate Party have a large enough portfolio, essentially, to get enough votes to continue to hold power? I realize that, the Senate, Democrats in the Senate represent 41 million more Americans than Republicans in the Senate, and that we've got multiple states, North Carolina, Virginia, Michigan, Wisconsin, others, where the majority of the people vote for Democrats, and yet their state legislatures and their congressional delegations are packed with Republicans because of gerrymandering. But still, does an openly Confederate Republican Party have a broad enough base to continue governing going forward, to continue winning elections going forward?
I think they can win enough elections. And as you well know, Tom, you know more about Nazi Germany than I do, but I believe Adolf Hitler became prime chancellor with something like, I don't know, it was a vote percentage in the teens, 15, 16, 18%, wasn't it? And
I thought it was in the 30s, but yeah,
okay,
it was a
maybe
minority.
it was. Well,
yeah.
that's perfect, because that's the support that Donald Trump has in the 30s. And so what I'm saying is that it doesn't require a majority to be obstructionist and to cause enough harm to the nation. And that's really what they want to cause, is harm. They don't want it to get better. They don't want to govern. They obviously don't, because they set forth no policies. They haven't set forth policies in 30 years, Tom.